Welcome to episode 235 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Walton. As always, I'm joined by Dan Reamer.
Who is your other host? And is sick today.
Got the head cold, the sinus infection, maybe?
I'm pretty sure it's bronchitis.
Oh, good. So you could expect some coughs from this podcast.
I would say that's probably going to happen at some point, see?
Look, trophy unlocked. First cough.
Look, it's like you're psychic.
I know. It's like we talked before I started recording.
I know. What? Crazy.
So how long have you been sick?
Since Thursday. I started getting sick on Thursday. It's been a downhill ride ever since.
Now, are you coming out of it, or are you still in the...
I'm feeling better. I'm past that point. You know that... Have you ever had bronchitis?
Yeah, multiple times.
You know at that beginning point when your head feels like it has spider webs in it?
Mm-hmm.
That part's gone.
But now you're in the my lungs are on fire stage.
I have the heaviness. I have just a 200-pound dog just sitting on my chest. Is what it feels like.
There are very few feelings that can relate to, like when you cough and you feel that burn.
Oh yeah, and it makes your whole chest just want to explode, and you kind of just want to die. You just want to call it. You're like, yep, fuck it. 12:01.
Yeah, if I have to go in another fit like that, and that's going to happen to me again, I'll just be dead instead.
Yes, yep, call it 12:01.
Yeah, because you know it's coming. You know that's going to happen again.
Yeah,
and you just want to punch a hole in the wall every time it happens.
Yeah, or people, babies, puppies, doesn't matter. Whatever's close.
Yeah, anything's fine. I'll just punch something, not myself, because I'm in enough pain.
Yes. So, yep, I'm kind of in that plateau / coming down part.
Are you self-medicating, or do you go to the doctor?
No, self-medicate. Dayquil out the ass.
So if at any point during this podcast you start talking about something that we weren't talking about, you blame the Dayquil.
Well, that shouldn't happen. That's not NyQuil.
I mean, sometimes though you take enough Dayquil, you get a little loopy.
Well, no, I follow the instructions on Dayquil because I know it can fuck up your world if used improperly.
Liquid, or are we talking gel cap?
No, the gel caps.
Okay. I like to take the liquid. I like it to work immediately.
That's what I do with NyQuil.
You got the blue bottle and you got the orange bottle.
When I need to go fucking straight to not right in the head,
NyQuil's some weird stuff. It makes you an idiot immediately.
Yeah. And the thing is, I never use the cup.
Not me either. I just drink it right out of the bottle.
I'm just like, gulp, gulp. That seems about right.
That's how real people do it. I don't know who's using a NyQuil cup, but I don't trust them. If you don't drink right out of the NyQuil bottle, because when you reach for the NyQuil, it's already bad.
Oh yeah, and well, here's the thing: that cup is useless because it's essentially, in my world, it's a one-time use.
Am I going to wash that thing?
Right,
No.
or put it back, or you can't just put. I know people. Just
put it back nasty.
Put it back on top there with all being gross, and now it gets all over you. No, fuck all that. No. Garbage. As soon as it opens it up. Garbage. Don't need that.
Yeah, I don't use it the one time. I just throw it away and I'll just gulp it. And so what the problem, though, that I think has developed is my initial gulp was probably more than what's necessary.
So then you take another one. Yeah, no, I get it.
And then over the years, I've added a little bit to that each time. So anytime I reach for NyQuil, I'm probably like double dosing.
That's because you're building up that intolerance.
Right, but for some reason NyQuil hits me. Like I can take a gulp of it, and then like 20 minutes later, I'm like putting the toaster in the refrigerator.
Yeah,
like I don't know what happens to me, but I just turn into an idiot.
Don't make me laugh, please.
Yeah, it's fine. That's what happens with NyQuil, and they got ZQuil, which is all the fun without the medicine.
Yeah, I've never taken ZQuil. I don't feel that's necessary.
They say it's non-habit forming, but
bullshit.
Getting a full night's rest is very much a habit that I can see me wanting to have every night.
Yeah, NyQuil is fun. The only times, because I'm the type of person when I'm going to work, I hate being late to work. If I'm going to be late to work, I will call off and miss the whole day because I hate being late to work. Hate it, hate it, hate it. The only times I've ever been late to work were because of NyQuil.
Because you wake up the next morning and you feel like somebody ran over your head with a truck.
It's if you wake up.
Right. You're kind of foggy. You're not sure if you remember the last 12 hours.
Right. You're like, holy, what happened? Is it 2027? What happened?
Right. This podcast brought to you by NyQuil.
I've been asleep for 10 years. How'd that happen?
I did one bottle of ZQuil, and I was hitting it pretty regular, and I was sleeping like a baby. But you wake up in that fog every morning. So I didn't like that. Because you wake up, and it's what I assume being hungover feels like.
Oh, no, not even
But
close.
it's the only thing I have to gauge it off of, so that's what I assume it's like.
No, being hungover is worse than having bronchitis.
I'm like, headache, kind of foggy, no energy. But I was sleeping like a baby.
For whatever reason, it's drinking of alcoholic beverages. This is the only thing that if you do too much of it, you wake up the next morning swearing you'll never do it again, and then can't look forward enough to the next time when you get to do that again.
Right. That's weird.
I can't think of anything else like that.
Maybe not that extreme. I'm sure there's some smaller cases. Like, I'm constantly like, I'm not going to stay up so late and play games anymore. And that doesn't even last till the next night.
Right. But
Because
that's different. Does not create the hangovers can be painful.
I mean, sometimes when I sleep for 2 hours and get up to go to work, it's a little painful.
It's not like a hangover, I promise.
And then I've been so tired before. I think I may have talked about this before, though. Like, where I'll black out for a minute at work, like when I'm on the computer. And I'm never sure how long I was out for, because I didn't check the time before this happened.
Right.
So I can look down and be like, it's 2:45, but I mean, if I blacked out at 1 o'clock, I've been out for a while. But if I did it at 2:40, it's not a big deal. So I usually check for like missed calls,
right.
or messages.
4 minutes is one thing. An hour and a half is completely different.
But it's not like sleep. It's like your body just quits. Like it just totally gives up on you.
Well, to be fair, you don't black out when you're hungover, but you probably blacked out earning that hangover.
Right. Well, I black out while I'm wide awake, just from lack of sleep. And then usually I try to get up and go do something, because clearly I've reached a breaking point. And after that, I'm fine. And
it's time to just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Just one foot in front of the other. Come on.
But then I make myself a promise at 2:45 when I wake up that I'm not going to play tonight.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then you do.
And yeah, and then I stay up until 2 in the morning, and I'm always pissed off when I'm going to bed at myself.
What the fuck? I know.
Yeah. It's a never-ending, like a vicious cycle.
See, what I do it I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed around 10 o'clock tonight. Then I'll get on, and then I'll play, and it'll be like 12, 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to bed. I turn everything off. I go to bed. I'm like, fuck, I should have just gone to bed at 10 like I was going to.
See, I'm even worse than that. Like, I stay on too late, which I would say you probably do the best out of all of us getting off to go to bed.
I do.
But, so I'll play till 1:30 in the morning, and I can't just, because I'm jazzed up, I can't just go to sleep.
To be fair, though, it seems okay to you because you guys are an hour behind.
Yeah, but then we play with Pat-Man, and when
so
we go to bed at 2.
You're like, oh, he's getting off at 11. But it's actually 12:30 my time.
But we're going to play till 2, though. So you still show way more restraint than we do. And then Pat-Man, who is also on Eastern time, says like he's still on when we go to bed.
Yes, but I think he has a different work schedule, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he goes in at like 10, but it's still insane.
Yes, like
I still don't know how he functions, because I'll get up some mornings and check, and he's been offline for like 3 hours. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, he's still young.
I mean, he's like my age.
You're
it
still
ain't
young.
Easy anymore.
You're still young too. It gets harder. It's going to get harder.
It's not as easy.
I
anymore.
promise.
But yeah, I feel like he does the worst out of all of us going to bed early, but he functions the best, it seems.
Well, we have no basis for that. That's
we've chatted about it before. He says he functions pretty well. I do probably about an hour in. Like, once I'm up for about an hour, I'm okay.
Uh-huh.
But that first hour, I'm pretty rough. Like, I almost need help showering some mornings because I just don't have any energy. That's how out of it I am.
I mean, I'm getting, when I go to bed, I'm going to bed, I only get like 6 hours of sleep. It's not like I'm maxing out all the sleep here.
When I get off, though, like, I'm jazzed up. I don't go to bed. I watch videos on YouTube for about 30 minutes before I go to bed every night.
Well, that's what I do too. I don't go right to bed.
At 2, it's going to be 2:30 before I'm sleeping.
Well, yeah. See, I'm just smarter than you. That comes with age. Don't worry, you'll get there.
No, probably not. If I'm not there by now.
No, trust me. No, because I wasn't there when I was your age.
Because, see, I say that I should go to bed earlier, but I don't want to. Like, there's no part of me that really wants to.
Oh, I don't ever want to either.
Like, I would stay up all night if I thought my body could handle it.
As you get older, it's a self-awareness thing. Because I always push it and push it and push it to stay up as late as I can. Because you know what? When you go to sleep, it seems like no time passes between when you go to bed and when you wake up. And you have to start you have to start the next day all over again. And you know how that starts. So I don't ever want to get there. So I push going to sleep as long as I can.
It seems like such a waste to me. That's my problem with sleep. Like, I feel like I could have done all kinds of other things. So that's why I try to stay around that 4-hour mark, because that's the only way I feel like I maximize my time.
See, I have moved up to 6. Every now and then I'll do a 4-hour. But
the problem is every now and then I go 6 hours, and it fucks up like my whole 3 days to get back on schedule.
Really?
Yeah, too much sleep is harder on me than not enough, because my body's used to not enough. But when I sleep 8 hours, I'm done the whole next day. All I want to do is sleep.
Oh,
I've got no energy.
That's odd. I'm completely different. I'm not like that at all. Like, I can go 6. Like, I could go 4 hours. I finally found, it's only taken me 42 years. I found my sweet spot, which is between 5.5 and 6 hours of sleep. Because before I would push it to 4, and I would constantly do that, throwing a 6 in there every now and again. Well, then one day then there would be one day where I will crash for 10 hours. Or 12
I do that
hours.
Sometimes where I crash.
Yep, and that's I was you. See, that's what I'm saying. So now I found that sweet spot where 5.5, 6 hours of sleep a night is perfect for me to function the way I need to function, and still get in some time of gaming with you guys.
See, I've done this my entire life.
I think
that's what messes me up when I sleep too much, because that is very irregular for me.
See, I
don't do that.
I have always done, when I was in high school, things like that, that's what I would do. I would 4 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep a night, go to school, do it, continue. Every couple weeks, have a 12-hour day, a 12-hour sleep day. Get home from school, eat dinner, take a shower, whatever, go to sleep 6:30, wake up at 6:30, go to school.
Yeah, I've probably been getting about 4 to 5 hours of sleep for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And at this point, that does feel normal to me, but I do constantly... if I don't play games at all, most of the time I still stay up that late just doing other stuff.
No, me too.
But for some reason, games, I don't ever wake up the next morning and be like, I shouldn't have watched YouTube videos. Or shouldn't have watched Netflix. But with games, I always wake up and I shouldn't have played so late. They're the one thing that I feel like I'm hard on myself about doing, because... I think if I'm going up to some stranger and they say, you're tired, I say, well, I just couldn't sleep, so I was watching a couple movies. They're like, oh, I get that. But if I'm I was up all night playing video games, what are you, 12?
Right. What are you, stupid? Didn't think that through?
You can't just quit playing?
To which case, you just go John Wick on them and gun food.
Yeah, you just punch them right in the balls.
Right. Punch them in the balls. Knee them in the face.
If they don't have balls, punch them anyways,
Give them
an opportunity.
Give them a pad punch to the throat.
I like a chop to the throat where they go after, because they're trying to see if they have the ability to talk anymore, and they don't.
No, the best ones are with a good throat chop. Just instead of a chop, just use the plate of your fingers, straighten out your fingers, and make them stiff. Wham, because they make no noise, but their eyes bulge out, and they're like.
Another favorite move,
but they make no noise.
The kick to the back of the knee, because you have to go down.
Yeah, you fall. There's no way around it.
I like that too. So you throat chop, and then when they're grasping their throat, you kick the back of their knees.
Actually, I disagree. I say you go with the knee first.
Well, wait, I'm not finished though. I'm throat punching. They're like, then I kick the back of their legs while they're distracted. They go down, and I knee them to the face, and they're out.
Yeah,
I walk off.
I always say knee first. The reason being, because if someone can't walk, they can't run after you. Because here's the thing.
They're not distracted. You can't get behind somebody to kick their knees when they're alert.
Still kick them in the side or the front. As long as you bust the knee some way so they can't run, it's fine. Because here's the thing. When you're in that situation, 8 times out of 10, you are not aware of this person's skills. You don't know what they're capable of. They could be an ex-Navy SEAL for all you know.
But I'm not trying to, like, maim them for life. I just want to kick the back of their legs so they fold down.
I am.
On the
No,
head.
you're doing it wrong.
No, at that point, you just pull a pistol out and put it right on their kneecap.
No.
I mean, that's where you're at. You're with ruining them forever. You want them to have a limp.
I want them to be very aware that they are not going to ever come after me again.
Put a gun to their knee and tell them that, and then pull the trigger.
No, because I don't like guns.
It's fine. I mean, they won't either. Problem solved. So you can't go hardcore, but not all the way. You have to commit.
It needs to be personal. Guns aren't personal.
It is when you look them right in the eye and tell them they'll never walk straight again.
No, it's different.
And then pull it.
It's totally different.
But if you just kick them in the back of the knee and they go down, and then they wake up and you're gone, they're like, shit. I'm not going to mess with that guy. I don't even know what happened.
Depends. No, because the thing now is all about pride and ego, so they might try to come find you. So you have to make sure that you break that enough so they don't.
I might pour NyQuil down their throat while they're out, too, so they wake up kind of foggy.
Well, they'll wake up foggy in 10 hours, so it'll be fine.
They're like, I don't even know what happened.
You could be 6 days away at that point, depending on where you live.
I don't even know what happened, but I feel great. I feel all right. Got a little cloud, but I'm feeling good. I played a video game this week.
Just one?
Well, I played several, but they're all the same stuff that you guys hear about every week. But I did play Little Acre. I started that. It's kind of got that Monkey Island vibe. Mm-hmm. Not done as well, obviously. Animations aren't as good. Sometimes your guy's talking, but there's no movement of the mouth. That's on purpose, but that kind of throws me off a little bit. Because I think what you're seeing there is an internal thought. He's looking at the camera, but I think he's thinking, not actually speaking.
Gotcha.
So there's no mouth movement. The art is cool. It's done well. It's if you compare it to some of those LucasArts games, though, it doesn't hold up to those. But I'm having fun with it. I got it on that midsummer sale that Sony did. I think it was like a couple bucks. And it's one I've been eyeballing for a long time. So I started that this morning. So far, the puzzles have been, if you interact with everything and you really explore, nothing has been hard yet.
Okay.
But I'm probably less than 30 minutes in, so we'll see. That's the problem with those games. I don't want to use a guide, but I get to a point where I'm so frustrated and can't figure it out. It's like a guide or I quit.
Yep. I know the feeling.
And then once you use the guide, you've got the guide open the whole rest of the game at that point.
Well, at that point, it's easy.
Yeah, you've done it. You know how easy it is just to get that info, so I try to stay away from the guide as long as possible. So we'll see if I stick with this one or if it's I'm having fun with it. I'm not over loving, I'm not over enjoyed when I'm playing. It's fine.
It's a game.
I'm not over enjoying myself, but it's fine.
I have not played anything new this week. I actually didn't play too much at all this week. Just because I've been sick, working. I had some other stuff going on around here. Working on some stuff. Some of you may have seen a tweet. So you know that I've been knee deep in the middle of other shit. That's about, so nothing new here. I think I played one night with you guys, and I may have got on and played some Mass Effect a few nights, but other than that, nothing new. I still need to get in. I need to get back to Among the Sleep, and I still have to get into Colot and Adrift. Colot I really want to play. I don't know why I'm not just playing it, but Among the Sleep is really pretty cool.
I've got several VR games. I've got to set aside a day to just VR out. So I think if I jump in early and I play it till around lunchtime, I jump off, eat lunch, maybe do some laundry, and then I can get back into it in the afternoon and probably play until dinner time. I think I could probably knock out a couple games.
Yeah.
Doing it that way. I won't be able to finish like Farpoint or something like that, but a lot of those experiences are short. They're 3-hour experiences.
Right.
So I think I can probably push through some stuff. I have so much. That's the only folder I have on my cross media bar, whatever the fuck they call that thing. That's the only folder I have for my library is VR games.
Yeah.
And it's got like 25 or 26 games in it.
Time for you to get to it, bud.
Yeah. So some of them are like Eagle's Flight, where you can always just go back to them and be a bird at any point. The story's not really about what that game's about. But then you have like Robinson, which I haven't started yet, which is all about the story.
Right.
And Farpoint, which is all about the story. So there's Arizona Rising, I think it's called. There's a new VR one that came out it takes advantage of the AIM controller.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm mildly interested in that. It looks like a lot of zombie shooting, but it does the teleport thing, which I so far have not found a game that feels super comfortable when you teleport.
Does it throw you off?
No, it's not that it throws you off. I haven't found one. I guess my brain hasn't got to the point where that makes sense. Like to look somewhere, like to look where you aim and hit a button and know that that's where you're going to be. I'm always a little disoriented when I jump there. Okay. Because like it resets and you're like, wait, where is this guy at? Or where is this thing at? Because it changes your whole point of view based off of where you were aiming. And it's just, I don't know. To me, that hasn't become second nature yet. Mm-hmm. And maybe I just haven't done it enough. I mean, that's the workaround for movement in VR. So, I mean, it's something that you're going to have to be comfortable with. Because until they have room scale, that's how it has to work. Yeah. You can't. I mean, you'll be bumping into everything, and if movement is your thing. I did see, this is not related to anything, but I saw where these people were taking buildings and actually building them out to match the VR room scale stuff. Yeah. And they're putting them in wireless headsets. And then when they're developing the game, it matches the exact layout of the room. Oh, that's cool. So when you walk forward and touch a table, there's a table right there. And when you walk over and go through a doorway, you're right in the middle of the doorway. Everything is laid out exactly to match the build. And then they can take that room size and they can equip it to whatever kind of game they want to run. So if they want to take the table out and put a chair there or put a sofa there, then they just go to the other game that has that stuff there. And that seems really cool. It's a lot of money probably involved in that and a lot of space. Mm-hmm. But things like that work in VR where I can like go hunt whatever aliens, but in a real like room, that stuff would be really, really cool as you're walking through a building. And like, if you take cover in a doorway, you're actually taking cover in a doorway. Yeah. That stuff seems really neat to me. So I still think VR is the future. I just don't know that we've figured out how to use it yet. I can't see VR going away. It works too well and it does exactly what it says. They just have to figure out a way to make it work for normal people.
Make it affordable possibly as well.
Right, and there's a story I didn't pull where Oculus has a cheaper version coming out. Yep. I think it's going to be
$300.
Yeah, something like that, $299. And the sale may be over, but they actually had the Rift on sale for $400 with the touch controls. This new model though is supposed to kind of bridge the gap. It's supposed to be the affordable version, and they say you don't need a PC to play it.
It's supposed to be standalone, yeah.
Which, makes me wonder how well it's going to work. The games, obviously, part of what runs those games is that high-end, $1,000 PC that you've got behind it. Or your, $500 PS4. Like, if you're running it off of just the headset, it's hopefully a step up from like something like Gear VR, which is just using your phone's processors. Mm-hmm. But it can't go all the way as far as a PC, because if not, you're going to have a backpack on. Or a Ghostbuster trying to play that thing. But... I think price point is a big deal for VR, and then I think space is the other issue that they have to solve. But if they can figure out those things, like if you had like a little, almost like a 8-way little pad that you could just walk on in place, but it move like a treadmill.
Yeah, but you'd have to. Yeah, it might work. I don't know.
They would need something that had the ability to turn no matter which direction you walked.
Yeah, but you would need to. They would need to figure out a way for you to know your position on the pad.
Well, if that worked correctly, then as you walked, you would be walking that direction. So if that was the wrong direction, you would just be able to correct. Because you would be able to see it. Even if you were walking, you thought you were straight, but you were walking. I guess I feel like that wouldn't happen if you could walk. You wouldn't be funny if you could walk, because you'd be seeing... part of why I don't know where I'm at is because I'm not supposed to move. Right. But if I was able to actually walk, I feel like I would always know where I'm at. Especially if you're standing on that mat, because you wouldn't have, you could easily course correct if you got stupid. Whereas now you can't. So they got to figure out something. That's probably not the right answer, but they have to figure out something.
And they may over time. But, I mean, really, VR as we know it now, to where it works well and looks good, is new. It's still in its infancy.
Oh, yeah. And I think, I see a lot of people who are like, oh, VR is not perfect. It is the first time we've had it work. Right. Like, I mean, you might look back and finally remember things now, but let me tell you, the Atari, not perfect.
No.
And that's most people's introduction to gaming. You know, there's obviously stuff before, but most people started with the Atari or the Nintendo. Those weren't perfect.
No. Remember that controller that kills your hands?
Or having to put the game in 175,000 times because your fucking 32 pins are all rusted out inside there. Yeah, that did nothing, but it made you feel good. You know, that's fine.
Right.
One of my NESs, I upgraded the pins in, and it's crazy. You put it in, it just works all the time. You're like, what? Where have you been my whole life? And then the top-load NES, of course, mind-blowing because it always works and it looks good. But you know, these things aren't perfect because they're brand new, like you were saying. They're still babies. They've got to figure it out.
In their infancy. Yeah, remember it took each and every one of us 3 to 4 years to learn not to shit ourselves. So
some of us longer.
Some of us longer. Some of us still don't have it figured out. To be honest,
some of us still have bad days. You know.
But so yeah, there's still it's still very young and in its infancy, and there's still learning things about it. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you that it's the future. I just I don't know when that future is.
You know, there's been a lot of things where they're gimmicky, and even like the Wii, everybody's like, "Oh man, motion controls are where it's at," but you never really got that feeling like in the future everything has to be motion control.
Right.
But when you play VR, you're like, this fucking works. Like, this puts me in a game more than anything I've ever done has. It's not, like, gimmicky. It's not like a trick. Like, it actually works. And the first time I played a game where it made me, like, feel like when I was playing that luge on VR Worlds, which is not even good, but I went over a hill and I got butterflies.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this fucking works.
That's when you knew?
Because my fat ass is sitting in a chair in my living room and I got butterflies. Because it tricked my brain.
Right.
And you trick my brain, it's good enough for me. You know, like, that's all I need. Put a fan blowing on me and let me lay back a little bit, I won't know I'm not there. So, you know, I just think that it has lasting power. I just have to figure it out. And I don't know that I think PlayStation's a great vessel for it because I think it's affordable, but it's obviously not the best version of VR you can get right now.
Right.
They got to get away from the light sensors. It just doesn't. You know, it works well enough, but some people are having, you know, if you're in a really bright, especially natural light room, people have a lot of issues. If you're, you know, if you play in a sex dungeon and you have mirrors all the way behind you, it really fucks things up because the camera sees like 20 lights and it's like, I don't know what's happening. So there's a lot that they have to figure out with the way that PlayStation works, and it's not going to happen on this go around. Because it can't. They don't have another solution right now. The Move controllers kind of sucked back then, and they kind of suck now. But they're a great, affordable solution for people.
Right now.
I don't know. I want everybody to have one. They had some sales going. They had $75 off at GameStop. Amazon was full price, but they gave you 3 games with theirs. It was Rush of Blood, Riggs, and something else.
Yeah, I don't know what it... You sent them to me, and I ignored them.
VR. Yeah. So, I mean, there's some deals there. I mean, that one especially, the Drive Club... I think it was Drive Club, which is you can find for $20. Riggs, which is still $40 for some reason. And Rush of Blood you can find for $10 to $15. So it's about the same deal, either one of those that you went with. But having 3 games certainly feels better to me than having $75 off. Because I have stuff to play immediately.
Right.
It's still a big commitment if you don't have a camera and a controller and stuff, too. You gotta have it all. Like expensive VR Pokemon.
Yep.
If this is your first time joining us, this is the official Gamestitch Podcast. Dan and I get together every week. We chat about all things nerdy and game related that we care about. You guys hopefully sit around, listen to it, love it, maybe get a little excited listening to it.
Chubs all around.
Maybe chubs, maybe not. We also wrap it up in all the bullshit we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes. You know, NyQuil and bronchitis and whatnot, and that is the dumpster fire that makes up this show and community, and we appreciate you for roasting your marshmallows on that fire.
Yes.
Garbage marshmallows kind of grossed me out a little bit while I was saying it. Garbage s'mores. If you love the show so much that you want to support us, head over to patreon.com/GameStitch. You can toss us a couple bucks on there, and you can make new content. You can make these shows better, and pay attention to Twitter. There's some stuff coming. You can see we're hard at work on some new ideas and and streamlining some processes, making things better for you.
Yeah, we don't know.
But
making sure.
Big plans. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We still have not worked out the new goals yet because a lot of that depends on what we're deciding about the projects that we're doing now. So we're going to continue to honor what's there. Just sit tight. We'll have some new stuff. Like we said, we're not going to take away any tiers for the dollar amount. So if you're subscribed at the $10 amount now, you'll still get something for $10. It may just be a different something. So we'll keep the same monetary tiers, at least for anything that's already subscribed to. And we'll go from there on that kind of stuff. Patreon.com/Gamestitch. We appreciate you.
We love you.
Let's jump into some news. We spent a lot of time up front, so we might keep some of these stories short.
Just to be clear, again, not a great week for news. Not a whole lot coming out. Some information. Nothing mind-blowing, really, I don't think.
No. Maybe one or two stories on here I think are really kind of... Maybe just one is really... I don't know. Maybe it's a precursor to what we're going to see. But the rest of these, there's not a lot going on. So we've talked about in the past... What is this guy? He's an analyst, Michael
Pachter.
We've talked about him before. I think he was putting out a ton of stuff about the PS4 Pro, and he might have even talked about the original PS4 launch. He's now come out and said though that we're going to see the PS5. He thinks it's going to be a half step, and he thinks it's going to launch next year,
2018.
And, he's saying that to expect a Xbox One X like system, something that's 4K native.
Actually,
4K.
not next year. He says 2019, doesn't he?
2019. Yes. Sorry. So there's another analyst who's saying you'll see it by the back half of next year.
Yeah, that's
what I got mixed up. This guy, the other guy's name is he's got a good name, Damien Thong. I think we've talked about him too. I think
we have
Thong Song on him.
We did go Thong Song.
So
that was way back when. That was a long time ago.
He's saying the same thing, half step, but it's going to be out the back half of next year. So really what I want to talk about with you is, because I don't give a fuck about these two guys.
Right.
But what I want to talk about with you is, do you think the half step is what's coming for Sony? Because I feel like we already have the half step.
Actually, I think the half step is what's coming for all the consoles. I think we see it with the Xbox One S, the fucking stupid name, but we've seen it with the PS4 Pro. Now you're going to see the PS4 Pro Plus. It's going to be another half step. It's just going to be some internals that help with graphics and stuff. As far as I think that what these companies have realized is the extent of what they can do with their consoles is related to processing and graphics. So that's what they're doing. They're going to do those half steps. They're going to make new money. They essentially are going to cut their time in half between the new consoles by creating these half consoles, and by doing so, by keeping those names, they're able to it's not considered to be a new console. It is literally that half step. So actually, I think this is something you're going to see from everybody. We've seen it. I mean, Nintendo's been doing it. Let's be honest.
I guess my question is, if they continue these steps, where do we get a PlayStation 5? I mean, when does that happen? And also, PlayStation 4, anything tells me that every game that came out since the beginning has to play with it that's for PlayStation 4.
Right. And I think that if they're going to do that it has to be that way. You can't have different titles. This works on PS4. This doesn't work. This only works on PS4, not PS4 Pro Plus, so on and so forth. So yeah, I think by doing it, they have to ensure backwards compatibility at minimum for all iterations of that console.
Yeah, so I mean that's another thing. By keeping that name, whether it's 4, 4 Plus, 4 Plus Plus, 4 Pro Plus Plus, they have to keep every game from the beginning of that library has to work on there, in my opinion. But if it's just a half step, they could
call it a PlayStation 5, and it's but I think literally the half steps.
That's a misstep, I think. If they call it the PS5 and it's just an upgraded PS4, Because, I mean, I think we would all agree there's a difference between the PS3 and the PS4. It's not just an upgraded PS3. It's a totally new system. If they just upgrade it, I don't know. I don't know if I'm cool with it. But, I guess you could, the Switch is really just an upgraded Wii U.
Well, I mean, and I don't know if you see this the same way as I do, because I pay some attention to it and not a lot. I'm not a PC guy. We've talked about it before, graphics, 30 frames per second, not a huge deal for me. But I think what I'm noticing just from reading different things, just off the cuff, I have completely nothing to back this up, by the way, but from my understanding, the way I'm comprehending it is, it seems that some of the technological jumps that we've seen in the past are starting to scale back and slow down. That those jumps aren't quite as quick and far as they used to be. So if all of that technology is also now being introduced in half steps, I think that limits what these consoles are able to do.
Well, I think PC gaming used to be leaps and bounds above console gaming, so it was easier to make those big jumps. And now, obviously, PC gaming is still the best way to see a game, but it's not as far off as it used to be.
But what I'm saying is, like with the PC stuff, those jumps from graphics and processing that we used to see, that were major, they're not quite as huge anymore. Yes, you can get the graphics to look a little better. You can get a little better processing power, but not like, you've got huge difference now. I don't think in technology, I don't think those jumps are coming as quickly and as far as they did in the past.
But as PCs slowed down because you can only max out to what you have, then consoles have caught up. There's not as big of a gap, so like a half step for Xbox One might be all that's possible right now. But I have to question, why are you putting out hardware at all? I don't know. I still don't know who the One X is even going to benefit.
Right. We've talked about this, just you and I.
I just don't. And if Sony comes out with a Pro Plus, I don't know who that benefits. Like take your time, support this system, worry about a new system when you can do something new. But if you're just adding, if the next PS4 is going to come out and the only difference is it's got 2 more USB ports up front, I'm going to skip it.
Or it's got a little bit more processing power.
It's just...
I understand what you're saying.
I'm still a firm believer that if you're not side by side with a PS4 Pro and a PS4, you can't tell the difference.
Right.
And you know what? You're not going to be able to tell the difference if you're standing beside an Xbox One or a One X unless you have both of them side by side.
Well, that's true, but that's also you and I's take on it. There are people out there who
they can swear up and down whatever they want. They can't tell the difference.
We know, but the fact that it has more processing power, more teraflops, and does have better graphics, side by side or not, that's what they play for. That's what they want. I still hear it all the time when I look on different forums or on Reddit, or this game looks like shit, blah, 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 looks like crap, graphics suck. Okay, but
to those people, you need to play on PC. That's what it's there for. It is the best-looking graphical experience you're going to get. Don't fuck around on consoles if that's what matters to you.
I agree with that, but that's not how they see it, because maybe they can't afford it's just... It's the way we are. We whine and bitch about all that shit now. But
I still think that... I just don't think... Yeah, does it load a little faster? Maybe, but you can't tell if you're not standing side by side to the other one.
Hey, I'm with you. I was against the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One S since they announced them. I'm not getting either of them.
I think the price point was low enough on the PS4 Pro that if you were going to get another system, it made sense.
Yeah.
But if you're going to add another Xbox, it's a big difference in price. I still don't know. I think I'd probably just buy an Xbox One S.
I don't need a PS4 Pro. You felt you did. I didn't. I already had a PS4. Didn't need another one. So
you're gonna. I'm gonna let you go through the next couple stories because I just realized I didn't plug my computer in and I'm about to die in like 35 seconds.
To die?
So it's the Dan Show. I'll be right back.
It's all up to me. I got to do my own shit today. Okay, we'll talk about this one a little bit. We'll get Ryan's input a little bit later. Real quick, PS4's Gran Turismo Sport release date has been revealed in a new trailer. This week, Gran Turismo Sport released a new trailer, and in it they produced the release date. So it's going to launch in the United States on October 17th. It's going to launch in Europe and Australia on October 18th. I know there's some people that are excited for this. I don't know that I'm super excited for it. I'm not a racing guy. Ryan, I know, usually enjoys the Gran Turismo games, so he may be excited for it. I'm sure Matt's going to get it. But, hey, if you're into it, now you know when it's coming. So, all right, yay, Gran Turismo Sport. All you racing fans out there, go for it. We'll skip over a few other ones here. I'll get to one that he might not be interested in. Here's a good one. We'll do this story real quick. For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. I'm sure there's not many of you out there that don't know that. But through November 1st, you can actually explore. You get the 10-hour trial. I spoke about it when it first came out. It was a 10-hour trial that you got if you had EA access and were able to and pre-ordered Andromeda. You got that free 10-hour access. Well, they have released this again. So you can play through that trial. It includes both multiplayer and single player. It just gives you an idea of the game, where it starts. I know some people are on the fence. I know it's gotten these huge. It's just been bashed. I understand that. I haven't been bashing it. I don't think it was a bad game. I don't know that. Oddly, there wasn't a lot of hype about it, so I'm not sure if it was overhyped. But for many, it just wasn't the experience that they thought they were going to get. Whether that was because they expected Commander Shepard 2.0 or what, we don't know. But if it's one you have been interested in, thinking about, give it a shot. Try it. You got 10 free hours to try it. Multiplayer, single player. If you do decide, hey, yeah, this might be worth it. It could be on sale, could be full price, who knows. But you might think, yeah, I had a good time with this. I want to try it. If that's the case, anything that you play in that 10 hours will then carry over after your purchase. So, not a bad deal. Just don't believe the hype.
And if I'm back, by the way, and if they're smart, on November 1st when this trial ends, the game will go like half price. They'll let anyone who's interested and wants to buy it during this trial go ahead and do it. But if they're smart at the end, right when it ends, they'll make it really cheap.
It'll go half price or $20. It's been on sale at GameStop for $20 last week. So it does again this week.
They hold their price, I think, this whole time. The last week, I think they drop it and just try to get anything they can. I mean, this very much seems like it's not as bad as it seems type move. Like, right. We got the updates that were necessary out. Now check it out because it's not as bad as what you're hearing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this will do. I don't think 10 hours is a drop in the bucket for a game like that. So, I don't know how much someone can get out of 10 hours. But hopefully this encourages people to at least check it out and see what's there.
I will say 10 hours does give you a decent idea of the control mechanics, the personalities of some of the different characters, and it does give you an idea of what the game is, which is what you want a trial to be. You don't want to give everything away, but it ends on a pretty good cliffhanger to keep you wondering what's going to happen next. So, like I said, if it's something you're interested in, if it's you've been putting it off because you believe the hype, or it was glitchy. They fixed a lot in it. It looks a lot better. It plays a lot better. The glitches are minimal. The animations are much better. And I would say if it's something you were considering, give it a shot. And there's no reason not to. It's free.
That's 10 hours. Did you do the Gran Turismo?
I told the Gran Turismo story. I said you were probably interested in it, and we would come back to it if you were.
I'm going to get it. I love Gran Turismo. I think the date's good. I think that's a crowded time. There's a lot coming out as we get in the back half of the year. But yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I just noted that I wasn't really interested in driving games, and this wasn't for me. But you enjoy them. You were probably getting it.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I mean, I think it's going to be fun. It delayed from 2016, obviously, to this year, so they gave a pretty good amount of time to continue to polish this game, and it should be very good when it comes out. And if it's not, that's an issue because they took a significant delay. So they've nailed down a date, and I hope they hit it. Did you do the next one?
Nope.
Okay.
I went straight to Mass Effect.
Nidhogg 2, which is a game everyone should buy that's listening to this. It finally got a release date of August 15th. New graphics. It looks totally different.
It looks completely different.
It's almost got like a Clay Fighters thing going on, but like,
yeah,
it's super strange looking. And I know a lot of people are giving it shit for not looking like it did, but I read, and I don't have the full story. They basically just said they had to upgrade everything else. They had to make it look different, or it wasn't going to work.
Yeah,
and I actually like the way it looks a whole lot.
It's got a real cool art style. I'm excited for this.
It's
I
also
played
got
the first one minimally, but there was enough there to know that it was an enjoyable experience, and I'm excited for.
So it's got overhauled environments, animation, 10 levels, new soundtrack. This is the big deal. It still supports local, but now it has online multiplayer.
That's huge.
Which is a problem before because we always had to share play to play together,
yes.
And it's never quite as good. Plus a single-player mode where you compete against AI and face occasional challenge rounds. So I'm pumped about this. Hopefully it comes out $14.99. I think that's the right price for this game.
Yeah, more.
And hopefully a lot of the listeners get it because I would love to stab you in the throat. If you haven't played Nidhogg, it is tug of war with swords. You're trying to get to the end of the level. You got to kill the person to get past them, and then when you run to the next screen, they respawn, and then it's a give and take. And basically, you're just trying to get to your finish before they get to theirs. And I watched I think GameSpot's got a video up of it. It's like 8 minutes of one round because these two guys are constantly killing each other and then running all as far back, and then they get killed. It's just a give and take always. So there's a lot of strategy to it. There's also a lot of freaking out and just getting lucky. And I like that mix of skill and luck, and I would love to have some people to play this with. And it's a definite purchase for me. August 15th.
August 15th. Is that the same day Life is Strange comes out?
Probably. I'm telling you, the back half of this year is stacked. It's nasty.
Good
Lord. Yeah. A couple $100 worth of stuff coming out. I got everybody's golf coming out, too, and I'm pumped about that one.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that one.
Yeah, I think I've got Howard convinced that he needs to have that, so I have somebody to play with.
I think you'd probably, from what I understand, I think you do.
See, I pick and choose my battles. If there's a game I know I can't talk everybody into, I just go for the one that is gonna like be maybe a little bit interested in it, and I go after that one heavy, and I stay away from everybody else because I already know. So he's my only hope for everybody's golf.
Yeah, I really enjoy the fact that you've left me alone.
Well, I just know that you're. First off, it's a sports game.
I don't play sports games.
Right, and if you were, you probably wouldn't play golf.
That's true.
So it just seems like a lost cause.
I'll go with some FIFA, some PES, but
right. Keeping with the release dates, No Kuni 2: Revenant Kingdom has been delayed. A lot of people upset about this.
Yeah,
a lot of shade being thrown their way, but Namco Bandai said it's not going to be ready.
It's not going to be ready. I mean,
this is what we should want from our developers and publishers. If it's not ready, don't put it out.
The problem is there's you just can't keep fucking people happy. No. They want it now, but they want it to be perfect. Well, you know what? It's kind of a one or the other, assholes.
God,
you don't get it. You can't always get it both ways. And at least they're being honest with you about it. They could just sell you some shit.
They could just shit out of Assassin's Creed Unity.
Right.
And it's not a big delay. This is going from November 10th to January 19th.
Right. It's 2 months.
It's 2 months, and if that's the polish it needs. Remember when The Last of Us took a delay and everybody got all butthurt?
Yep.
And then to hear Neil and Bruce talk about that game, they said the last 6 months is when that game came together.
Right.
So, you know what? Take your 2 months. Ni no Kuni, the first one was great. The second one looks like something different. It's not. It's going to be different than that first experience, but I hope it's great. And I'm excited to play it. And when it comes out, I will play it. And I'll wait until that is. I mean, they know when it's ready. There's enough shit coming out. Ni no Kuni and the Wrath. I don't think so.
Wrath of the White Witch?
Yeah.
I did play it. That's the one where you could build the farms houses. You could build the farms, right, in a multiplayer mode?
No, I think you're talking about the White Knight Chronicles.
That's what. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Ni no Kuni was the Studio Ghibli
Yeah, you were the little child.
Yeah, and there was a little
okay.
anteater thing with a lantern on his nose that followed you around.
Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, I'm thinking of White Knight Chronicles.
That game was fantastic.
You really enjoyed Ni no Kuni. I remember.
Oh, yeah. I sunk like 100 hours in it and never even finished it.
Yeah.
I really, really, really liked it. This one it seems different than it was, so I don't know if I'll get into it. Also, just to be perfectly honest with everybody, I don't have the time that I had when I put 100 hours into the last one.
That's right.
So, it'll be interesting to see how much I can actually do with this. But I'm excited I'm going to get it. Take as long as you need, because I got too much other shit coming out anyway, so it's fine. Xbox One had a big update last week.
Yeah.
There's some stuff here that's cool. There's some stuff here that's
stupid.
Not that big of a deal. You can now change your avatar picture like you can on the PlayStation 4, which I think is a big deal. You should be able to kind of be unique with that. So on the Xbox One now, you can upload pictures, things like that. There'll be a lot of dick pics on there.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be something to see for sure.
It's exciting.
Now, this is what I think is a huge deal. You'll be able to co-stream on Xbox. Now,
that is a big deal.
There's a caveat with this because you have to use Mixer, which I think is stupid. It's a Microsoft thing. They're forcing it on you. But you can co-stream now with up to 3 people, and all you have to do is invite them to the stream. So that means that Dan and I theoretically can play a game together on Xbox, and you can see both of our streams now.
Say Sea of Thieves?
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll just tell you right now, this is something we're going to experiment with because this is really freaking cool. And Twitch, YouTube, listen.
Get your shit together.
You're a better platform, so do this.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Co-streaming is the way to. I need you to see. We've done stuff in the past where we've played games, and that's the thing. Even if we're playing Rocket League together, I want you to be able to see what he sees also, or what I see also, and this is the big deal. So Mixer's stupid, just for the record. This is a great idea, though, and it's going to get us to use Mixer. How
do you know Mixer's stupid?
Because I know based off E3 that Mixer's stupid because of how they tried to incorporate it. And it's stupid because we don't need another platform to do the same thing, especially one that's Microsoft heavy.
Well, apparently you're getting one that does something different.
But here's what I hope. I hope Mixer allows you to export it to YouTube. So that the videos are there, because I know not everyone or anyone is on Mixer. So we'll see. We're going to experiment with it. It's cool. We haven't done any Xbox streaming, and we both have one, so there's no need not to. So I think we'll experiment, especially when Sea of Thieves comes out. I think you'll see some.
Oh yeah.
Some hot and heavy pirate
hijinks.
Yeah, some booty questing.
You're gonna see us. We'll probably do dumb shit.
No, for real, for sure, we'll do dumb shit. I hear a lot of people are talking to me about Skull and Bones, and they're like, "You still want Sea of Thieves with Skull and Bones?" Guys, these are not the same thing.
Yeah,
don't confuse the two.
They're completely different.
If you took some NyQuil and then went pirating, that's what Sea of Thieves looks like. Skull and Bones looks like a briefcase and suit pirate adventure.
Yes, it's incredible. One is incredibly serious, and one is a little more jovial and a little more fun.
Just watch some of the videos. The swimming while carrying a treasure chest.
Yep.
First off, I don't think that's even possible.
I guarantee you, in Skull and Bones, you are not going to be able to get shot out of a cannon.
Shot out of a cannon. There's sharks underneath there that are like playful, and it looks like a rare game. We've talked about it. It looks like a Nuts and Bolts. It looks like a Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome, but it's also like it doesn't take itself serious. Which is, the older I get, I appreciate even more a game that doesn't feel the need to take itself serious.
I like some games that take itself serious, but there's a time and a place for it.
And those are everywhere.
I don't think in Pirates
those self-aware serious games are everywhere. It's rare that you can just find so I've been playing a lot of Snake Pass. It turns out being a snake is kind of fun. You have to slither back and forth to go fast. You can raise your head and wrap around stuff. I can appreciate those moments. It's like cartoony. It looks like Pixar made it. I can appreciate that way more than I used to. I was like, I don't want to play a fucking kids game. When you're like an early teenager, you go through that phase where you're like, I ain't playing no kids game. I want bloody gore, adult, mature rated. But as I get older, I'm like, you know what? I just appreciate something that's fun. I don't really care what it looks like. Because it's hard to find fun anymore, and especially a lot of the topics that these games, tackle, they're great, and that needs to happen, but they're heavy. It's nice just to be a fucking snake with a hummingbird picking up your tail sometimes. Or, ukulele is another example. I've heard that it's not great, but I'm just glad that those games are starting to exist again. And I think Sea of Thieves is going to be the same way. It's goofy, pure, fun.
Yeah,
we're going to give each other shit.
And Skull and Bones is not on my radar at all.
So the beta is going to make a big difference for me on that. If I get to play the beta and enjoy it, it could change my mind.
What, Sea of Thieves?
No, that's a lock for me. Skull and Bones. Yeah, but if Skull and Bones is not, if I don't enjoy myself or get to play the beta, I'm probably never going to give it a chance.
I just feel like it's going to take itself more serious than I want to take.
It definitely is serious. I dream of knocking one of you off the boat in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's going to be funny. I don't want to leave you. I just want to knock you off. Just once. I think it'll be funny, right? But watching that E3 demo where they jumped under and they swam to that boat and they got the treasure chest out and the shark chased him, he dropped it. Someone else picked it up. They got on shore. Somebody else dropped it and someone else picked it up. We're all working towards the same goal. It's fun. It's goofy. It just seems like a great time, and I'm super pumped about that game. Has no release date though, so I could just be pumped forever, I guess.
Just endless excitement.
Yeah, so still don't know where we're getting that. So, all right, to jump back to the story, we've got avatars, we've got co-stream. Co-stream is a big deal here. And then we also have, if you share the system now, it'll do unique sign-ins based off controllers. So there's a little more, it'll automatically tie your profile to a specific controller. So if you have multiple people using the same Xbox One, that's a cool deal. And there's also some stuff going on with setting up tournaments. Now players can set up tournaments with Killer Instinct, and I think that's cool too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that, but I think that's cool.
I mean, the big thing is obviously the co-streaming.
Mixer. Let's mix it up. You think they say that?
It could be amazing. You don't even know.
I do know.
You don't know. You think you know.
I'm shitting on Mixer, all right? You're just going to abandon Twitch and YouTube and jump over to Mixer?
I didn't say that. That's
what you're saying.
You don't know.
Dan's exclusively on Mixer now.
I'm saying you don't know that it sucks.
I do know that it sucks.
It might suck. I'm not saying it's going to be good.
You've already said it's
great. But
I'm
saying you don't know.
Speaking of competitive gaming, Overwatch is making big moves. We talked about, I think, a little bit in the past, or maybe I was talked about it off the podcast, but their league was going to be a city-based thing. It was going to be international. Mm-hmm. They were going to select these big cities. They were going to put teams together, and they're going to treat it like a real professional sport.
With a team linked to a city.
Right. So what's even
New England Patriots, Chicago Bears.
What's even bigger is some of the ownership that we're seeing here. And speaking of the Patriots, Robert Kraft, who owns the Patriots, is going to own the Boston based Overwatch League team, which is crazy.
We don't have a name for it yet.
No, but it's crazy that he would even think, here's something I want to... there must be some belief. Because this could just be a pit to throw money in.
All it took is some marketing guru to convince him that it was a sound investment.
But he's a smart enough guy to not just throw money in a hole in the ground. So there's got to be something there that even if someone convinced me that he feels like the money's going to come back.
Fuck New England.
And then
Robert Kraft.
Jeff Wilpin, co-founder and partner of Sterling VC Venture Capitalist, Venture Capital, whichever that stands for, is also going to invest. He's going to own the New York team. He also owns New York Mets. So another huge player there stepping in. Yeah. Now, some of the other teams are more traditional in that you're seeing some of the esports stuff. Los Angeles has a team, Orlando has a team, San Francisco, Shanghai, and Seoul. So you're seeing some more traditional, NRG and stuff like that with those teams. But those couple of, billionaires stepping in is a big deal. And especially people who are already in some sort of form of professional sports. It does make me, no matter how you feel, if some dude just convinced him, I feel like it's being taken more serious.
No, I agree with that, but I don't know that.
Rocket League coming to NBC. Yeah. I mean, Rocket League, the finals of Rocket League are going to be shown on the same channel that they were showing the final for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal. And now to see big-time sports owners getting involved in esports, esports might finally be making that turn.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So it's a big deal, big day for. It's not just a big time for Overwatch. I mean, it's a pretty big deal for everything. Because if you play a game, and you're competitive in it, and there are, there's a big online community, then it could be next. Overwatch is awesome. Blizzard is awesome to have behind that. Activision Blizzard, they know what they're doing, and that game has staying power. The people that play Overwatch fucking love Overwatch.
Yeah, they do. It kind of makes me want to get into it a little bit, but
yeah. I mean, I've watched people play it. It looks awesome. It's not my thing, but it looks awesome. And I think you probably, my thoughts on Rocket League, but if you weren't going to pick Rocket League, there's probably no better game to do this with. So I think this is a very big deal. And I'm interested to see, they're going to do a draft. I mean, are they going to...
Yeah.
What's this consist of? How many players are going to be signed? Is it just the people who play, or their backups, or their coaches?
It's going to be really interesting.
Got to be coaches.
To see who's coming off the bench.
League has coaches. League has alternates that they pull up. Not Rocket League, but League of Legends.
Yeah.
So there's a dude in a suit telling them what they need to do before the game starts and coming up with plans. And I assume this is going to be the same, where they're running strategies and plays, and it fundamentally changes the gaming. So, it's something you have to invest heavy in if you're going to play it at this level.
Yeah.
But you could get a fucking jersey, though. You're going to get a jersey, a signed contract. You're going to get paid to play this game, and only this game. You're not going to have to stream for 20 hours to supplement your income, probably. You're probably going to get paid pretty decent. Sounds like they're trying to do it big. It's pretty cool.
So, yeah, big deal.
Nintendo has killed off the new 3DS. So let me make sure I want to be clear for everybody. They're no longer going to manufacture the new 3DS. They are going to continue to manufacture the new 3DS XL, the new 2DS, and the new 2DS XL.
Fucking Nintendo. Just when you think they're doing things right, they go and pull this shit.
So before anyone panics, the proper new 3DS never even came out in the U.S.
Right.
It was out in Japan and Europe. They've both said that they have stopped production. It was only available over here in limited edition bundles. What you see in most places is the new 3DS XL.
3DS XL, yeah.
Right. They showed off the new 2DS XL, which looks a lot like the 3DS. Clamshell design's back on it, and it doesn't have 3D. It's the only difference. It doesn't have 3D. People don't need 3D anyways.
It didn't take off like they thought it was going
right.
to.
So you've got the standard 2DS, which is the one that's shaped like a doorstop. Then you have the 2DS XL, which is like a 3DS, and then you have the new 3DS XL. They're all fucking called new for some reason. A lot of people saying, this is the first sign that the Switch is successful and that they're going to kill off that platform. I don't think so.
No.
I think it just didn't make sense to have that many SKUs out there. Nobody was like, hey, you got that smaller one that's harder to see? It's especially with the 2DS coming out, and Nintendo has said the 2DS is designed for entry level.
Yes.
It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be, rugged. It's there for that. People don't need 3D anyways. I never have 3D turned on. I'm basically playing on a 2DS anyways.
Yeah, just 3D just didn't take off, and it.
You know what? I think it's super cool that Nintendo figured out how to do proper 3D without glasses. I think that's super rad.
Yeah, it is. But it didn't take off. I mean, it didn't take off with or without glasses. 3D was a thing for 13 minutes.
I've talked a lot about the Give Me a 5 store in the past. Every time I go, there's 5 or 10 pair of 3D glasses, legit ones that are tied to the kind of TV that are there.
Right.
That's how dead that is. That no one even gets them to resell at that store. They just lay there. No one even tries to scoop them up because they're this one works with Samsung. These models. This one works with Sony on these. They're fucking complicated. And no one cares. No one has those TVs anymore. Nope. No one watches 3D. If you have it, and it's not a knock on you, I have a TV with it, but I use it as just a regular TV.
You don't ever turn the 3D on, right?
Hey, I want to be uncomfortable. I want to have to sit directly in front of my TV. I just don't do that. I have 2 pair of glasses for mine, and that's fine, and I'll never use it, but I'm going to keep it, and we're good to go on it. But and for everyone who says the same thing about 4K, it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
4K will be the standard. I think 4K will soon be the only option you have. That and whatever comes after 4K. But it's not the same thing. You don't need anything to watch 4K.
No. Except for a newer TV.
4K device hooked up to it. But that's no work on your part. Again, you don't have to wear fucking glasses in your house. And look like Neo when you're sitting on the couch. Like, nobody wants that. I want to be comfortable.
Well, I want to look like Neo, but...
You put the duster and the glasses on and just sit and just kind of relax.
Sit.
Yeah, I get it.
Maybe do Kung Fu every now and then.
Maybe.
I know Kung Fu.
So you covered the Mass Effect stories. That's it for the news. So, kind of a lot of content, but no real meat there.
Yeah. It's kind of like eating a bunch of vegetables.
Yeah, there was a lot of cleanup with release dates and delays and stuff like that.
No steak, no carbs, no potatoes. Everything we had was fucking rolls and beans.
And again, we picked. I picked the things that I care about. So there obviously more happen. Some of it just doesn't fucking matter to me. These are games that I feel like we're mostly going to play or be involved in, or that you guys that listen are going to care about.
Yeah.
So, don't write in and tell me I skipped a story, because no, I didn't.
No, we didn't skip it. We knew it was there. We just didn't have two fucks to give.
Chose not to. So, I think we've talked about it before, but I pull the news. If I miss something that Dan wants to talk about, he sends it to me.
Right.
Which means we've done all the checking and balancing that we need to do on our end. There's just two of us. If there was a story we wanted to talk about it, we made sure it was in. If we didn't, then we rolled on.
Yeah. We noticed it. We just didn't care.
Right.
That's what you need to understand.
It's actually perfect every single week with the content that we've pulled, because it's what we wanted to talk about. Sometimes stories happen and I'm like, ooh, yes, or I care about that. But there's nothing to talk about.
Right.
It is what it is. Yeah, I'm excited about it. No one else gives a shit, or whatever. So we do pick and choose. We don't pull everything that we want to talk about.
There's not a lot to talk about.
Right.
Pretty much.
There's the Destiny 2 beta right now. I don't care. If you guys do, you already know about it.
There's nothing to talk about. You know what it is.
Right. You know what happened last time I tried to play a Destiny beta? Didn't work out. No need to talk about it this time. Not going to try it.
Did you play by yourself or with people?
I didn't get to play at all. It just fucked up the whole time.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. That's right.
He kept telling me I had to download, but then it was already downloaded whenever I tried to go to the page.
I remember. I've had that problem before on shit too, so I understand. But yeah, I get it. I do remember.
So shitty, yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. You were mad. Me and Matt would play it.
Yeah, you and Matt were just having a time of your life.
I don't know if it was a time of our life, but
I couldn't even check it out.
I remember Matt was super big on that game for about 13 seconds.
Yeah, he's streamed out the alpha. And all he talked about was how Destiny was going to change the world.
Yeah, it was for 37 seconds he was all into it.
Yeah. Totally abandoned it. I have vanilla Destiny that I've never even put in my system. Still wrapped. I got it free from that deal that you sent me from Newegg.
Yep.
It was $15, but they sent you a $15 rebate.
Yeah, so you basically got it for nothing.
You have to wait for to come in, but you get it for nothing.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Because you always said if you could get it cheap enough, you'd get it. So I figured,
turns out free was right.
Free's probably spot on.
And that's exactly how much time I've put into it. $0 worth.
Free.
So it's been all right. It's time for my favorite segment, especially this week, because it's my turn.
Yeah.
Gone but not forgotten, where we reach back in our gaming past. We tell you about an old gem that you might have forgotten or that you might have missed. I tell you what, this week it's gone, but it's not forgotten.
Is it some bullshit?
No, the opposite. I think most people were like, yeah, I love that, all right.
We'll see.
I feel strongly that you're going to like this, too.
Okay, go for it.
We haven't talked about it, but I think you're going to. So, my gone but not forgotten is Smash TV.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so Smash TV, I think most people will be familiar with Smash TV. Originally, it was an arcade game designed by Eugene Jarvis. The reason I tell you that, I know you don't care, listeners, who Eugene Jarvis is, but he also worked on, I'm blanking out, Robotron.
Which is similar in a lot of ways.
It is. And now the reason I tell you that, because I still know you don't give a fuck, is he worked on Next Machina, which is out now by Housemarque. Housemarque makes great games. They brought in someone who has a lineage in these kind of things, and people absolutely adore Next Machina. So that's the reason I tell you these things. You should go play that game if you're reminiscing about Smash TV, because that game looks fucking incredible.
Smash TV.
But back to Smash TV. You remember it was set up like a game show.
Yeah.
It was a shooter. You went room to room, but it was very much like you won stuff at the end of rounds, and it was really gimmicky and kind of cheesy and perfect in every way. You were these like roided up guys, these bros.
Like Running Man.
Yeah.
Very, very Running Man.
But you look like American Gladiators.
Yeah.
It came to basically every system known to mankind, people, humans. If you've played it, it probably has some sort of
mankind,
Smash.
people, humans.
Yeah, exactly. Mankind, people, humans. You've probably played Smash TV in the past. I went back, before I picked this, I went back and watched some videos Friday, and I was like, you know what? I think I'd play this today.
Yeah, it still kind of holds up.
Like, I think if you and I had a way to play through Smash TV, I think I'd like to do that. It looks great. I mean, it looks like it did back then, but it still looks fun. Mm-hmm. It's still cheesy as fuck.
It was such an awesome concept.
Yeah, it is great, and I'm not going to sit here and say we need a new Smash TV, because I think that doesn't make sense anymore. I think something like Next Machina is what the next Smash TV is.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with still having Smash TV and still going back and playing that, and I think that's freaking cool. And if you somehow have never played that game, you gotta go back and watch it and appreciate it for when the time and place that it came out. And then if you're just curious about Next Machina, I think you're okay to spend your money there. Housemarque makes incredible games. They've made Resogun, they made Super Stardust, Dead Nation. They know twin stick shooters. And then they brought in the old school guns to make it, really something special. And I think that game's getting like 9s and 10s everywhere.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Resogun. I know you guys you and Matt really enjoyed it.
It was fun to play together. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not a spaceship shooter guy, so that's why I wasn't really into it. Dead Nation was awesome.
Yeah. What's the new one? There's Dead Nation. There's another one, like a second Dead Nation.
No, I don't think that's the series you're thinking of.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what it's called.
It's just not Killing Floor?
No, there's Housemarque did a second Dead Nation. It's not called Dead Nation.
Oh, I'm not aware. I guess I wasn't following, but I really enjoyed Dead Nation.
Yeah, we played that some too.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that.
Super Stardust, Alien Nation. Seems like I would have been able to remember that.
It seems like, yeah, it does seem like you're right.
But Housemarque, they make awesome games. I don't know why Sony hasn't scooped them up yet, unless they just refuse to sell, because they only make stuff for PlayStation for the most part.
Yeah.
And then they have Matterfall coming out too, which they showed off at E3. Matterfall looks cool too. Something a little different for them, but still kind of in the same vein. But yeah.
Yeah, I can't decide on Matterfall. I'm torn.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm probably not going to get it. I didn't get Next Machina. I didn't play Alien Nation, but I can respect what Housemarque does. I played the shit out of Resogun. Also, we've talked about it before, but we called that game Rio Sogun for a while because that seemed better. It seemed more mysterious.
Yeah.
But yeah, Resogun's a lot of fun. It's been free over and over, I think.
Constantly.
On PlayStation, yeah.
It was free forever when the PS4 when the PS4 released.
Yeah. So check out that Smash TV. Some places call that Super Smash TV.
Some do.
Yeah, but you can find it everywhere.
It will always be Smash TV in my head.
You can find it in the interwebs. I've never played that game in the arcade.
You never played it? I don't think I did either, actually. I think I only played it on... I can't even tell you what system.
Yeah, till I researched, I don't think I'd ever even seen the arcade.
Honestly,
I don't think I'd ever seen the picture of the arcade.
Huh.
I mean, it looks pretty rad. I wish I had played it there, because I think they would really have that vibe of like a game show when you're surrounded by people and stuff.
And all the other bells going off, bells and whistles, and
it's still pretty cool though. And I think I played on the Super Nintendo.
I think that's what I played it on too, but I didn't want to quote that for sure because I can't.
You couldn't be wrong, because it came on every fucking system.
True.
It's on Genesis, NES.
But no, I think it was the SNES.
Yeah, I think that's where I played too. Follow us on the social media. We are at @game_stitch. I am at Podcast Ryan. Dan is at Shirtless Dan. That's where we're all at. That's
true.
where all of the show is at. Those three places.
All of the show.
You're only going to... What's that?
Go ahead. I'm just curious why neither Garrett or Thomas gave us a shout-out this week, because now that means it's up to you.
Yeah.
Actually, Thomas may have, because I think Thomas's shout-out is going to be that he gives the Castlevania series on Netflix a 10 out of 10. I think we're going to go with that.
Yeah,
video game related. It's from Thomas. He said it. So I think that's fair. So Thomas, thank you for that.
And I'm gonna use Garrett's tweets also.
Okay.
But I'm gonna paraphrase here a little bit.
Sure.
But I think in several different versions he said "fuck yeah, Fortnite."
Pretty much.
That
There's
game,
a couple different ways he said it, but yeah, I think that about covers it.
That game is less than a week away for people who pre-order it, the 21st. When we're going to get that. Wait, that might be a week away. But either way, we're on the cusp of having...
The 21st is next Friday.
Yeah, so we're on the cusp, less than a week away. We're on the cusp of having Fortnite, and he sent out a ton of Fortnite content. He is the man for Fortnite. Like, he can tell you about the classes. He can tell you about which pre-orders get you what. I mean, he's all in, and we're excited to all play that together. So his shout-out is fuck yeah, Fortnite.
He can even tell you what class we are all going to be playing.
I think he's correct, too.
I think he's spot on with what he's got.
Yeah. So I look forward to playing that game. I hope that the hype lives up for that. I know that I talked it up with all of you, and I've watched a ton of videos, and it looks great. So I hope it plays great.
I do too.
I hope it holds our interest. It looks like a fun alternative to Rocket League some nights.
Well, I think it's going to. I think it's going to carry a very good tonal balance. It's going to be fun, serious but humorous. I think it's going to have that really good tonal balance for us to enjoy. It's going to be serious enough with the content of what it's about, but it's also going to do it with those bits of humor.
I love a bit of humor.
Me too.
Don't love a bit of honey.
Oh no, that's not a good candy.
I
knew exactly what you were talking about. They're horrible.
Yeah. It's one of those people that it's one of those candy that old people give you. Like they just have a bit of honey in their pocket.
Yeah, no, horrible.
And
it's
you're
a
like,
horrible candy. It's pretty close to the worst candy ever.
I won't go that far with it, but I don't like it. And I'm a honey guy. Like honey a lot. Don't like bit of honey.
Yeah, I don't like it in my candy.
What about the cowtails?
I love the cowtails.
I always think I love the cowtails. I get one, and I'm like, nah.
Oh, I really do love them.
Like they're not bad. They're just
like those caramel creams. That's all they are.
Yeah. They're sweeter than I think every time though. Like I think in my mind they're kind of
dull.
No, they're more sweet than I think they're gonna be. I don't like super sweet. I'll take savory over sweet most times if I have a choice. And I know they're not going to be savory, but I think they're on the lighter end of sweet. And then I bite into one, and I'm like, "Fuck, this is just straight sugar on sugar."
Oh, they're good.
This is like sugar fuck sugar and made more sugar is what this tastes like. And it's too much for me because I like a light sweet. And I'll just take a savory. Like I'd take jerky over chocolate any day.
You know what else I don't like? Speaking of sugar, I don't like sugar babies.
I don't love sugar babies either. What about those dots of fucking just sugar that come on that wax paper?
No. No.
They didn't even try. That's just a fucking dot of sugar. No. Like they didn't even dress it up as anything other than
That's just like I always hated. Remember the things you used to get years ago when it was like juice in wax?
Oh, dude, no, don't shit on these. These are my favorite.
No, those are fucking gross.
They're my favorite.
Well, then you have horrible taste.
So you know what the little hugs are, right? The little barrels of juice, sugar water. That I'm convinced that's what's inside these wax bottles. It's just the same juice that's in a little hug. But they put it in this wax bottle, and what I like to do is delicately slide my teeth around the top and take the actual cap off like a real soda. And then you can just dump that sugary liquid down your throat.
No, they're so gross.
Because that's all I want of that sugary liquid. I don't want like a full hug of it, a full barrel. I just want that little tiny. It's so good. I don't like the yellow one, but I'll drain the red, blue.
I don't understand the wax need.
So it's just a vessel. You don't have to. Some people like to throw it in their mouth and chew it.
Remember the old wax lips?
Yeah, I like those.
They had no juice in those.
Yeah, I don't chew on the bottle. So like, if I get a pack of 6 of them, I'll probably chew up 1 bottle, just for the hell of it. The rest of them I just toss.
That's so gross.
It's just about the juice.
Fucking useless.
Those are my favorite retro candy.
No,
if I'm reaching
Pixie
for a new,
Sticks.
I hate Pixie Sticks.
I love Pixie Sticks. Don't shit on Pixie. If I can't shit on fucking,
but you did shit on it even after I said don't do it. Pixie Sticks is like ground up sweet tarts.
Oh, I love Pixie Sticks.
But if I'm going for like a new candy that's still around, that's an older candy, I go for Snow Caps. I like Snow Caps.
Snow Caps aren't bad. I'm still a Junior Mints guy, man.
Yeah,
I will take Junior Mints. If I go to the movie theater, that's my go-to candy.
See, that's where I get Snow Caps. That's my go-to.
I get popcorn, a large drink, a large popcorn, a large drink, and a box of Junior Mints.
But I like Snow Caps that are like the flat disc with the little tiny white balls on top. If you get them at the theater, a lot of times they're just the...
Are they the tiny ones? The
yeah.
small? Yeah, no, I like the bigger ones too.
They're just like the... Well, I'm blanking out on what they're called, but just like the fucking chocolate chips.
Yeah.
They're just chocolate chips with the white things rolled on them, and that's not the same thing as a traditional Snow Cap.
No, the traditional ones are about the size of a quarter.
Yeah, disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yep.
I like to go. The candy store here closed down, so they're kind of tough to find that way. But that's what I liked in the past. Let us know what your favorite candy is. Podcastgamestitch.com. Write in now. Or Twitter.
Unless it's that wax bullshit, then you can keep it to yourself.
I mean, if you want to validate my decision, or if you like Little Hugs, they probably don't get enough attention these days.
Little Hugs are different than the wax bottle, so
it's the juice is the same though.
No, they're not the same.
The innards are the same.
It is already different because it comes in that stupid wax.
What if those
bottle.
Little Hugs came in like a big fat ass wax jug, like it was the same size that it was wax?
No.
The Little Hugs always had like the real like metal lid on them. It's like aluminum foil, but it's too thick,
and it never came off completely.
Right? Yeah, it would like cut your lip because for some reason they use the thickest.
You had to use your fingernail to get, and you would always jam it up inside and poke yourself because you were trying to get the corner.
Because they use like the thickest tinfoil they could find to clamp the top, or aluminum foil. It's like recycled cans on the top of those things.
It almost needed like a sardine thing where you just peel the back.
Top. Yeah. I miss the Little Hugs, Squeeze-Its, all those things. They're just not appropriate as an adult to be just slamming a Squeeze-It out in public.
No.
Like, you can, but there's something off about it if you're just a dude, like, you just walk in the Olive Garden, you're like, no thanks, I brought my own Squeeze-It.
Right. It's it's kind of like walking around on the sidewalk having a fruit by the foot.
Yeah. Yeah, fruit by the foot's probably a roll-up. Fruit roll-up's probably pushing it, but you definitely can't get away with fruit by the foot. You definitely can't get away with that. And you roll it out and you're putting tattoos on your tongue.
A fruit roll-up could go either way.
Right.
But fruit by the foot, you're out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Some things like you can no longer eat as an adult.
At least in public.
Right. Yeah, if you want to pound some gushers, you can do it at home, but you shouldn't be in public gushing everywhere. I'm talking about how crazy it is when it squirts out in your mouth.
Don't be strolling down the street pounding a Go-Gurt.
Right. It's yogurt, but I'm on the go. And you're like, no, I understand what it is, you piece of shit. It's weird how that works, how it's totally acceptable if you're a 9-year-old and you're pounding like a push pop, right?
Yep.
But you got to eat that shit at home once you're an adult.
Right. What do you got there? I got me my root beer float bar. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. You fucking serious? Are you fucking with me? You fucking with me? It looks like a fruit by the foot. Are you fucking with me? You're like, and you kind of like want it, like talking about it. You want all of these things, but you're not supposed to.
Right, but you're thinking in your head, okay, I'm going to get some of that, and I'm going to have it at home.
I'm going to eat all of those before anyone knows that I've also paid money for them.
Yep.
Some things you never want again as an adult, like a kid cuisine, which I ate as a child, and now I look at it, and I'm like, fucking gross.
Yeah, they look gross.
I'm like, the pudding goes in the microwave, and I'm pretty sure that happened when I was a kid. But now when I look at it, I'm like, no, sir, no pudding goes in a microwave.
I'll tell you something else I won't get is that I refuse to get like popsicles or ice creams with cartoon people designs on them. I refuse. When I was a kid, that's the one kind I wanted.
I used to love going to like an ice cream truck where they had like the Goofy and it had like the bubblegum eyeball on it.
The bubblegum eyeball, and then you pull it out and you're like, man, that don't look nothing like Goofy.
It was so perfect though, even though it didn't look anything like him. You also don't eat those little ice creams that come with the wooden spoons anymore.
No.
You don't have a vanilla one of those strolling down the street.
I don't even know if I can't even think of seeing any of those.
I always had the wooden, like the popsicle stick that was like shaped like a
it was like a
infinity symbol. All right.
Kayak. It was like a kayak or the tiniest kayak in the world.
It tasted a little bit like vanilla and a little bit like wood.
Yes, because exactly.
Yeah, I miss that actually. I don't know. This has been episode 235 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Like I said earlier, if you want to support us, patreon.com/Gamestitch. If you don't, that's cool too. This podcast will always be free as fuck.
Always free as fuck.
We've established that. This podcast costs the same amount as I paid for Destiny. $0. But it's worth more than that. Want to be clear. I'm not saying you get the same experience, but it is the same price as I paid for that.
Right.
Right.
You probably should clear that up because
right. It's not a shit game is what I'm telling you.
It was not a selling point at first.
Episode 235 in the books.
235.
Good night.
Good night.